your horror movie podcast.
Welcome back, Hackstab/. This week, to try and stay current and prep for a movie that's coming out that a lot of people are fucking hyped for, we're doing The Black Phone. And Justin, the other night when I was getting ready to watch this, I sat down and I made a Hawaiian pizza, but I burnt it. I guess I should have used Aloha temperature.
Oh my God, Aloha temperature. I was like, Aloha.
Have you ever seen this movie before?
No, so I picked this, right?
You picked this.
All right, yeah. So I picked this because also, like I said, I wanted to stay current, but this was a movie that I was really excited about when it came out, just because, I mean, if anyone's watching on YouTube, the mask behind me is so freaking creepy. I've almost watched this like 20 different times and I never pulled the trigger. So this was a first time watch, and it was just, I needed to finally get this off my damn watch list. So,
hell yeah, dude. I knew nothing about this movie going into it except that it had Ethan Hawke, a dope ass mask, and some kid locked in a basement that talks on a phone. If I'm being honest, I was expecting like similar vibes to Sinister, which Ethan Hawke was in, but he watches movies in a basement.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then I was like, I could be way off base, but this was one of those movies where the general populace, when it came out, there was a lot of hype behind it. And I was like, I'm going to wait until we actually cover this on the podcast, because usually with this much hype behind a movie, you get let down.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
So my expectations were like very timid going into this. I love Ethan Hawke in just about everything that he does, from Training Day to what is it, Daywalkers, the vampire movie.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
You know what I mean? Right up until Sinister, the Purge movies.
Dude, like, so good. No, he's
Ethan
awesome.
Hawke, he's one of those like actors that you don't talk about often, and he's not always all over like the headlines and shit, but anytime he's in a movie, you got to sit down because you know it's just going to be good.
Oh, he's so good. So good. So pumped for this one.
And when we talk about getting pumped for this movie, bro, the first 5 minutes has me absolutely hooked. The Little League scene where Bruce is humble enough to pay a compliment to Finn, and all the feel-good vibes set to Free Ride. But the second this black van takes the corner, it goes right into like a small opening credit. And then it's old school right off the rip, dude. We go right back to what I'm guessing is 8mm filming, set to what feels like a very like American Horror Story style opening, with basically just turning everyday footage really fucking creepy and filling it with missing posters. Like, this whole opening thing was mint.
Super creepy. It was creepy from the get-go, like you said, from like the fun opening with the baseball game to into just like, it took a dark turn real fast.
Yeah. Right now, we're getting ready to dive into this real dark, fucking murky water, and I'm that dumbass fish that took the bait the second that hook hit the water.
Let's go.
We also meet Terrence, their dad, and he is a dickhead. You can tell these kids have to walk on eggshells around him. Finney and Gwen also get their day going by walking to school, and we see Bruce's mom is starting to hang missing posters all over the place. Finney doesn't think they're going to find Bruce, and then he follows it up with saying, like, the way they want to. And I was like, God damn, man.
Right.
Dude, the dread turns to excitement right off the rip, though, because we see this kid, Moose, is squaring up with this kid, Robin. And like I always say, you don't bring a moose to a bird fight, because Robin spin kicks Moose so fast it would make Chuck Norris think twice about stepping to this kid.
Kicks his ass.
Robin is fucking badass, bro. Finn gets cornered later on in the movie by 3 bullies in a bathroom, and in walks Robin. And this kid just sets them all straight by washing the fucking blood off his hands from beating the shit out of Bullwinkle. I literally put in my notes, I was like, this kid, Robin, washing the blood off his hands because he beat the Bullwinkle out of Moose.
Let's go.
Let's go.
That was a badass scene.
It turns out, though, they're really good buddies, because Finn often helps him with like his math, because Robin has a learning curve. He says like the teacher teaches way too fast, and Finn has a really good way of like slowing things down for him. So they bond over that, and you can tell their friendship is solid, because even like Robin's like, hey man, I'm not always going to be there for you. There's going to come a time where you're going to have to stand up for yourself, and I know you can do it.
Foreshadowing.
Right? I mean, even the foreshadowing, but just great words of encouragement, like belief. Like, that friendship, you could tell, is solid, bro. Gwen gets pulled out of class, and she has a chat with some detectives. She mentioned to Amy, Bruce's little sister, that she had a dream about how he was taken. Hence, she says this was just a dream. But they want to talk to her because she says she saw a black van with black balloons. And they're like, yo, you need to tell us every fucking detail you know because we never released any of the details about the black balloons. And we did find those all over these crime scenes. They drill her pretty hard, dude, and she bites back. And right now, I'm like Team Gwenny all the way because
Dude.
she looks him dead in the face and she's like, yeah, I'm the grabber, you dumb fucking fart knockers. Dude, I talk
She
about.
unloaded it. I was like, what?
She was going ham, and she was like, "What did she call the pinball kid?" She's like, "I've seen he's twice the size of me." She's like, on a bad day, he could kick the shit out of both of you." Like, dude, laying into these
Just laid
detectives.
into him.
I'm like, "Let's go." Terrence, he's doing his best parenting skills later on that night by passing out drunk and letting Finn stay up all night eating ice cream and watching horror movies until he passes out. I love that for Finney. That's probably the only solace this kid gets is when his sister Gwen goes over her friend's house for the night and his dad passes out drunk.
Seriously.
And it's like the whole world just stops around him and he can just be him for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
This is short lived, though, because Finn wakes up to the sounds of his father legit beating Gwen with a belt. Gwen, again, is a badass because we all know her dad's a drunk. Bro, she grabs the bottle of vodka, holds it up, and goes, "Hit me again. I'm going to break it."
Mm-hmm.
And he tries to call her bluff, blah, 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 blah.
Bluff blow.
He tries to call her bluff, bro. And he like steps at her, hey, you gonna do something? And she instantly drops it, and he loses his mind. It's an $8 bottle of vodka. How dare
God.
you?
Gotta have that
dude,
Rubinoff.
fuck this, dude. We also see Robin's ass is out and about, and he goes around the corner of this like loading dock. I have no idea why he's back there all by himself. Nothing. Like you'd think he would have a little more aware of his surroundings, but the grabber's there, and he steps out of the van, and like he's donning this massive cape, and
What the?
I mean, was Robin going back there like, oh, this is the dude, I'm gonna kick his ass? Like, was that the mindset? We get none of that because we just see a back shot of Robin and then he's gone. And I was rooting for Robin to like make it deep into this fucking movie.
Yeah, that hurt. I know. I was pissed.
And then we see phones ringing all over this neighborhood and news travels fast. And Finn is absolutely crushed that his best friend is gone. And he asks his sister, he's like, hey, can you try to do the dream thing for Robin? And she's like, it don't work that way. And he was like, I need you to try. So she goes in, she prays, she does the whole 9 yards. She's really trying. Detectives come to the house the next morning and they sit down to talk to Gwen about Robin. I guess Robin going missing gives the bullies free reign to beat the shit out of Finn because the very next scene is Finn running away from those three guys. And the more I see Gwen, the more and more I like this chick because she comes out of nowhere with a rock and she's straight manhandles these kids.
Good.
Unfortunately,
right
though, there's three of them and she's tiny and Finn isn't much of a fighter. And they wind up like overpowering them. So it's 2 on Finn. And his sister winds up sitting down next to the kid that she smashed over the head with a rock because like they're like tapping out.
They're done.
They're done. Frog dissection day the very next day. And Finn gets paired with his crush. It's also Friday, which means Gwen is staying at her friend's house. So Finn gets to fly solo, eat ice cream all night, watch horror movies. This day cannot get any better, right? Sure as fucking get worse. On Finn's walk home, he stumbles across a clumsy magician who drops all his groceries. Finn, being a good kid, offers to help pick him up. And he says, I'm a magician. Do you want me to show you a magic trick? And while he's prepping, Finn kind of looks in the back of the van and he sees the black balloons. And then this shit turns for the worst. The grabber yokes him up using these black balloons as coverage, and he sprays something into his mouth that knocks him unconscious before like tossing his ass into the van. And then this whole process, though, I thought maybe this cut on his arm that Finn gave him with that little rocket ship that he carries around, I thought that was going to come back more to play. Like maybe this dude would have got questioned and they would have been like, how did that happen? But we never really see that. But the rocket ship does come into play later on, which is pretty cool. The grabber has Finn now in his basement and he tells him, he goes from like angry magician to like kind and caring. which is
Weird as
really
shit.
fucking weird.
I couldn't
He's
get a
like,
read on what the hell was
yeah.
happening.
And the voice and his like the tone in his voice is just uncanny because he's like, "Hey, I'm not gonna hurt you. I would think you would, but I'm not gonna hurt you. I need you to stay down here for a little bit until we figure some things out. Do you like soda? I'm gonna go get you a soda." And then he hears like a phone ringing in the distance, and he's like, "Yeah, just like Justin looking away." He's like, "I'm gonna go check that, bro." This mask is absolutely fucking awesome right now because he's got no teeth, no nothing. It's just like solid.
It's so
And
creepy.
unfortunately, though, it doesn't make him smarter because Finn still has that toy rocket that he used to gouge his arm wide open. So clearly, this mask doesn't add IQ points to the fucking grabber.
Nope.
We get like a real small scene, and I had to put it in here. I was gonna skip over it, but bro, my fucking heart breaks right now for Gwen. She's over her
Mm.
friend's house having a good time, and she gets a call from her dad that Finn's gone missing. And that fucking run back to the house, dude. I was like, oh my God. Like my heart broke for that little girl.
Oh, the bond you feel. I mean, I'll talk about it more at the end notes, but the bond you feel between this brother and sister, holy shit. Talk about like carrying the movie. Like
Right?
amazing.
Like
Amazing.
child actors, I mean,
Dude,
granted, Ethan Hawke as
amazing.
the grabber is
Oh
amazing, but
yeah.
these kids, oh my
Dude.
God, all of them too.
Yeah, so good. So the acting in this movie was badass.
But Finn wakes up and he checks on this phone on the wall, and the grabber tells him to hang it up. It hasn't worked since he was a kid. And then this whole back and forth between Finn and the grabber, dude, has my adrenaline just absolutely pumping right now. The way Ethan Hawke manipulates his voice from friendly to demonic right back to friendly is an absolute masterclass on using your vocal skills to instill fear. The phone rings and Finn answers it, but there's no one on the other side. And he falls asleep and he has like these visions, and everything is just all messed up. And then the grabber is squatting right next to him when he wakes up the next time. And he asks, "How are your eyes?" And I'm like, "What the fuck? Like, did you put something in them?" And he's like, dude, I feel like I said, I think he might have done something to him. Well, I don't know. It's a little weird that he's asking that question.
Yeah, a
But
little.
Finn says he's hungry and he denies him food. He says maybe later, pretty much. And it's just some creepy shit with like tears in his eyes. And he's just like, I only wanted to look at you. And at this
Yeah,
point, the
uh,
mask, he doesn't have the top half on. So you can actually see these tears in the grabber's eyes. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on right now? Like, why are you crying? Is Finn like
bizarre.
this beautiful possession to you that's making you cry? Like, I am all over the map right now. Like,
I
I
still have
don't know what to
questions.
expect.
I still
Yeah,
have questions after the movie. I'm like,
bro. And then when the grabber leaves, we hear the phone ring again, and it's nothing but static. And he hangs up, and then the phone rings again, and he hears the static, and he says, "Is anyone there?" And you just hear Finny, almost like Pennywise from It, like
hmm.
Finny, and that sent fucking shivers up my spine. He hangs up, and it calls back on a third time, and you just hear, "Don't hang up." And he's like, "All right." And this voice, the voice can't remember his name, but he knows Finney. He's like, we've met once. And he like repeats the phrase from earlier on in the movie. He's like, all I remember is your arm is mint. You almost had me. The
Oh, it's
boy on this
insane.
line is Bruce. And Bruce wants to help him. And he tells him, he's like, hey, he's like, the grabber, you're able to hear the phone. You and the grabber only. The only two people. He's like, when we were down here, none of the other boys ever heard this ring. However, Bruce does tell him there's like a loose tile in the back room. And he's like, hey, I had enough time to dig down, but I didn't have enough time to dig out and up. He's like, you can do this. I'm like at a loss for words because at this point in the movie, like going into this blind, I thought maybe the grabber would be the one calling him on the phone to like fuck with him.
Right.
I didn't expect at all for it to kick with Bruce and like all these other kids like
No, I didn't either. And same thing, I didn't when the movie came out, I probably saw the trailer a bunch then, but I didn't even rewatch the trailer before I watched this, so I kind of like forgot exactly what was going on too, and I didn't read up on it or anything, so I actually kind of had no clue I had no clue the story of what was going to go on either.
yeah. And then this might be my favorite attack in the movie. Not like attack for Bruce, but the way they
Hmm.
transition from the phone call into these kids
Like the
getting snatched up.
flashback.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we see like family footage of Bruce from being a baby right up until the day the fucking grabber took him. And this creepy violin music is very mood setting and effective. And this leads right into Gwen waking up from another one of her dreams where she sees her brother legit just banging on this fucking door hard. And it looks like the address is 1242. And then when you see it again, it almost looks like the two is upside down. So maybe 1247, or maybe both the twos are upside down and it could be 1747. I don't know if this is going to come into play later, but at this point, I'm trying to pick up on anything she's seeing. Then we go back and we see the grabber's water bill. It's going to be through the roof, Justin, because Finney, while he's digging underneath these tiles, bro, is flushing all the dirt down the toilet.
Toil.
But this is actually kind of smart because now the grabber isn't really going to have any trace of what he's doing because there's no pile of dirt in the room.
Yeah, he's hiding shit. Yep.
I love it. And I mean, the only way he's going to get nabbed is if the fucking guy comes in there and he like walks down this hallway to take a piss and falls in the hole, or like hides in the corner creepy while Finn's sleeping and Finn wakes up, doesn't see him, and starts digging again. Yeah.
Right.
The grabber's back this time, though, and he's got scrambled eggs, but Finn does not trust him. But he's like, I mean, you're already down here. There's really no need to drug you. All right, dickhead. But the grabber goes back upstairs, and he actually leaves the door open. And just before Finn can open this and make a break for it, the phone rings. It's another boy on the line, warning him not to go upstairs. He says it's a trap. This was a very well-placed shot. While Finn is on the phone trying to figure out who this boy is, bro, the ghost version pops up right next to Finn. And while he's talking on the phone, it matches up perfectly to seeing the ghost boy talking to him right next to him. I mean, even the octave of the conversation never changes. This is like seamlessly done. It turns out, though, our ghost boy is Billy Showalter, the paper boy. And he warns him that if he goes upstairs, he's going to get beat with a belt for disobeying the grabber. And he will get beat until he passes out. And he wasn't lying, though, because fucking Finn halfway walks up these stairs and he sees like a follow through shot. Like the camera leaves Finn from his point of view and just goes up the stairs. And we see the grabber sitting up there fucking shirtless with a belt, waiting for him to come up. But he smartens up and he turns around and goes back downstairs and eats these eggs instead of taking that beating with the belt. Billy calls back and asks to be called the paper boy because he's not Billy anymore. Justin, I want you to tell us why he's not the paper boy anymore.
All right, let's jump into this after a quick pee break. Excuse me, hold on. A lot of coffee.
Jesus Christ. All right. We're bringing this back, Hackstab / pee break dad joke of the day. If Yoda had to start a business, what would it be? A Toyota dealership. But don't.
Were you working on your stand-up? I could hear you talking.
Yeah, whenever you walk away, I try to do a dad joke pee break. A pee break dad joke of the day. So, Justin,
I know
you don't like Star Wars, but do you know who Yoda is?
I do know who he is.
Green guy?
Yeah, little green dude.
All right. If Yoda had to start a business, what would it be?
No clue.
A Toyota dealership.
A Toyota. That's all right. That's pretty good. There you go. Well done. All right. The phone rings. He is on the phone again. And he basically says, all right, you said your name's Billy. And he's like, don't call me that anymore. Like, that's not who I am anymore. He's just paper boy. And he basically tells him that when he was down there, he kept like a rope hidden where the where the wall meets the floor. And he's kind of like, well, what do I do with that? And like the phone hangs up. But now there's like, I don't know, there's some weird like supernatural shit at play. I don't even know what's going on because the bottle on the ground as he's talking to him started spinning and the bottle pointed up towards the window. And then as this happens, before we see what he does with that, we have another flashback thing of Gwen, though. She is napping. She's in the nurse's office and she dreams. And we see Billy's abduction. And it is creepy as fuck. He's delivering papers and he's basically stolen by the grabber. We see the grabber. He's got the damn black balloons. He lets go of them. Super creepy. I kind of love how we get a phone call and then we get like this whole entire like dream sequence of Gwen where she shows the story of Billy. I love how they do that. Like wicked cool.
Dude, it is so well done. And the shooting is immaculate.
It's
And
yeah.
just going from using whatever kind of camera they're using for the Black Phone movie right back into like that old school like home movie like made
Dude, it
VHS 8 millimeter reel, like it was amazing.
it reminded me of Sinister, like you said, when Sinister, when they watch the videos, like
Yes.
it's really cool how they do this. And then it goes right back to Finney now, who finds the rope. He takes the message from Paperboy, he tells him, he goes down there, he went and he finds this rope, he gets it around the window, and he's able to rip the friggin' bar off from the window. Unfortunately, though, it's still not easy for him to escape. Now we go back to Gwen, and we see a pretty important scene because Gwen's talking to like the dad. And obviously, we know this dad's a piece of shit and a drunk, but she's kind of like scared to talk to him. And she's talking to him about like my dream. She's like, "Hey, dad, we need to talk about this." And it's a pretty emotional scene because we hear him kind of talking, like we kind of see why he doesn't want her to talk about the dream. She's like, "Hey, like your mom," we find out that the mom took her own life because she was very special too, and she was hearing things. And he basically is like, "Look, I don't want you doing this. Like your mom, she heard things too, and eventually, like those voices, they told her to start doing things." So it's like very vague, but we realize her mom had some kind of powers like this too, and ended up maybe going crazy, taking her own life. But she's like, "Hey, dad, like, what if the dreams could actually help Finney?" And we see her like driving around with the dad now, and we also see the cops are going door to door. So like the search is on, and then we meet Max. The cops go to this door, and we see Max. Max is the friggin' dude. This Max is like he's like, "Hey, hey, come on in my house. Like I gotta show you stuff." Like and he's got like the whole he is following this case. He has got on the wall, tacking it up or whatever. And he says that he is just living with his brother right now while he's in town, and he's got the whole entire thing mapped out. He's like, "You want to see what I got here? Because like I swear that this guy's got to live around here." And he's talking so fast, he's going all over the place. But he's like knows what he's doing. He's literally got the shit tacked out and everything. And the cops are just like, "All right, well, if you think of anything else or whatever," and they ask him a few questions and stuff, and they leave. And we
Dude,
see him.
no way in hell Max doesn't do cocaine
I,
nonstop while listening to the Bee Gees.
I know what I was gonna say, and you see him. He does a line of coke. And then very oddly, like you see the camera almost like pinned down back. It transitions back to Finney, and Finney's digging, but it like transitions
But it like
down.
goes down a level.
And I
It's
was
not
just
like it
like,
was a
yeah,
clip
so
or like a jump scene or anything like that. It was like Finney's below him somehow.
yeah, so I literally wrote in my notes, I'm like, same house? Like, what the fuck kind of transition was that? Like, is Finney underneath this guy? But that guy, I was like, I had a lot of questions. And
Dude,
like,
right here, I'm like, maybe the grabber lives next door and
I
he's got
know.
like a tunnel where he like built a basement underneath this dude's basement.
I was so confused too, because obviously you could tell like Max was like literally tracking this house. So then I was like, same house? What's happening here? And then we see the grabber now. He goes down there and he's like, "What's your name?" And then he starts like talk before like Finney answers him. He's like, "This is just different. This is so different. Nothing's going right. Like I should let you go." And you could tell like the grabber's like stressed out. And I'm like, this dude, like, what is even happening? And then he does tell him his name, but he lies, does not say it's Finney. And then he all of a sudden like the demeanor changes. He throws like a newspaper at him where it says like Finney's name right there. And
He's like, you lied to
he's like,
me.
"You," yeah, he's like angry again. Like the voice shit is crazy. He's like, "You lied to me." And he's like, "To think, I almost let you go." Like, holy shit, dude. Like this is all over the place. He leaves, and then we see him, Finney sleeping. It is completely dark, and we hear dripping. He's woken up by like a water drip, so you think. And he wakes up and he's like looking around, and this is creepy as shit because we see a boy levitating, like bent backwards, like almost exorcist type, but his like throat is slit. He's dead and is dripping blood. And this is just like a vision. And this thing points to the floor, points to the phone. Absolutely gave me chills. So scary. He he answers the phone and he hears him saying, like, "You're running out of time. You're running out of time." Like he's worried that his brother is gonna figure it out. And we find out that this kid is Griffin. This is Griffin. And he basically says, like, "You have to play the game." And it's called Naughty Boy. And he's like, he's not been sleeping. He's not been sleeping, but he's in the chair right now and he's fallen asleep. He's stressed out. He's sleeping right now. There's a combination lock to the home. And he's like, what is it? What is it? And he's like, I can't remember. But that's why I wrote it down. I wrote it on the wall, and you have to go upstairs while he's sleeping, and you can get out. And this is like crazy. I'm like all over the place. I'm like, holy shit, like what is
Yeah,
even happening?
talk about like having to decipher it.
Yeah, right. So it's like holy shit. So like he writes it down. He doesn't hunt like it's a little confusing of what numbers
Yeah,
or
he asked
what,
him. I think
but
he's like, is it 233:17? Is it
yeah, it's 23.
23:3:17?
Like it's
Is
very good.
it
And the guy,
23:31:7? And he's like, I don't know.
yeah, poor Griffin, man, he can't remember. Like this poor kid, man. But and he's like, you gotta go now. So he does. So he writes that combination lockdown. And so he goes upstairs, and the grabber is sleeping in the chair. So creepy. I'm not gonna lie. I was terrified. Like this is just the eeriest freaking scene. He walks right past the locker. The locker. I've called this guy a million things. The grabber walks past the grabber to the lock, not the locker. And he's trying it and trying it and trying it and trying it. And holy shit, it works. He gets out. As he gets out, though, the friggin' dog barks, wakes up the grabber. Dude, he runs outside. This is tense. This is so tense because the grabber wakes up fast and he moves, man. He moves right. He runs to the friggin' van. He is running. He drives the van as friggin' Finney is running and pretty much like cuts him off to like actually like hits him with it and recaptures him. But he jumps like on him and covers his mouth because I get so excited. You see a light turns on at the friggin' house as they're outside. But he basically tells Finney, he's like, if you even make a word, and he is evil now, man. He's like, I will gut you like a pig.
Yeah, I think he said, I'll
And-
gut you like a pig and strangle you with your intestines.
yeah, I'm like, holy shit,
Now,
this gets dark.
Justin, dude, this is the only area of the movie where I actually had a question and I was like, this doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
The
what do you got?
dude drove his van. It's still running with the headlights on, and he's on someone's lawn, like halfway up the curb. If these people heard this whole thing and turned on their lights, why did no one open the door?
I was waiting for that. I was like just staring at the door. I'm like, someone's gonna open. Like,
Yeah, the
clearly,
only thing
someone's
I
gonna
can think
do.
of though is like they were shut in people, like someone that's like, oh, they must be fine. Like nothing really happened. I'm not gonna go outside
Right.
because I don't want to be involved.
Yeah, I know. I was literally waiting
But
for something more to happen in this scene. I was like so like holding my breath, hoping something was gonna happen. It unfortunately doesn't, and he calls him a naughty boy, and he goes back inside. And now we got a cutscene to Gwen. She is so pissed at Jesus, man. She is questioning her whole entire faith, like doing the whole entire prayer thing and everything. And then we back down to the phone. The phone rings, and we hear a voice say, "This is it." Like, today's the day. You should be terrified for what's gonna happen. And it's like yelling at him. And we find out he's like, "Wait, who is this?" And we find out this is Vince Hopper. And then we have Gwen, who is in the tub. We see, of course, this transitions into one of her dreams. And we see Vince's story. And we see that he is detained by cops after he was in a store. Kid was a complete punk. He's playing like pinball and everything. And he gets into a fight. Like, yeah, he's
dude,
not
I
going.
wouldn't even call this a fight because none of those kids stood a chance against him.
No, dude, he's whipping kids' asses. But like I said, then he's detained by the cops, and we see the cops drive this kid back to his house. And we see like Gwen is like along for the ride in the dream, like she's like in the car, like with them. And we see them, he's like, all right, yeah, this is the house. And we see them pull in front of a house. And we see 7741 is the house. And all of a sudden, boom, like she wakes up and like, holy shit, like, was that the grabber's house? And we see the phone, but we're back now to the phone call. He's like, tried everything, huh? Have you tried everything? And he's like, yeah. And he's like, well, listen, you haven't tried everything. There's an outlet in the wall 2 feet up. Dig 2 feet above this and break through that. And it will take you through a freezer in the storage room. And he's like, oh my God, like, thanks. And like the voice is like, this isn't just even about you. So it's like almost like this like other shit at play here. Like, what is even happening? And as this also happens, it's like the weird, like, I'm like, everything starts, the room starts shaking, and like a friggin' like a few glasses like break, and I'm like, what is happening? Is there something like supernatural at play here? Like, what is
Do you know
like,
what this scene kind of reminded me of with like the heavy vibrations?
yeah, what do you
Have
got?
you ever seen the butterfly effect?
No.
No, there's scenes when like he reads from his journal and he starts bleeding from the nose, and all reality starts to like change around him. And it
Yeah.
literally, like, see how my hands are?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
everything
That was
vibrates
cool
like
effect.
that.
All right,
And
I got you.
it reminded me a little bit of that.
All right, that makes sense. And then all of a sudden we see him. All right, it's go time. So man, he starts digging into the wall. he is smart kid too. Like he's using parts of the toilet and stuff to smash through this wall, and he finds the part where he's talking about, and he gets through to the freaking freezer. But he can't open it. And you see, man, it's just too much for him. Like he is crying. He's having a complete breakdown, feels like a failure. He realized I'm never getting out of here. He's just done, man. He's crying, so much emotions, and then all of a sudden the phone rings and he answers it. He's like, "Hello." He's like, "Hey, Finn." And we find out this is Robin. Like, sorry, I'm like dropping shit and trying to not still keep going, not be awkward. He's like, "Hey, Finn." He's like, "Robin, like, let's fucking go." He's like, "I am with you." But he's like, "Nothing is working." And he's like, "Look, I need you to stand up. Like, today is the day. Like,
Today's the day, man. You're gonna fight for yourself.
you're gonna fight for your life because time is running up, and this is the day that shit is going down." And it basically talks about like earlier how he told him like you need to stick up for yourself. He's like, "Look, I need you to get a weapon." He's like, I don't even have anything." He's like, "Yes, you do." He's like, "The phone. Use this phone, like hollow it out and like fill this phone with dirt, and you're
Yeah,
gonna
make
practice."
it heavy.
Yeah, make it heavy, and you're gonna practice punching, man. And it is like a coaching scene too, because like you see like one of those really cool scenes of him like ghost like behind him, and he takes him. He's like 1, 2, like step, and like basically like Finn is
It's like
practicing
step forward,
punching
bounce
with this,
back, step forward,
and
and punch.
and he's just like again and again and again. He's like, "You're gonna practice this. You're gonna wait for this." And he's coaching him. Like this was such a cool freaking call. And he's like, "This is the last call, Finn. Like this is it, man. Like this is the last call." And so all right, he does it. So you see him filling it up like he is freaking ready. And as this has happened, man, you see Gwen. It is pouring rain. It is just dark, eerie vibes. She is riding hectically in the rain to look for like the scene she saw in her mind. And holy jump scare, man! She drives this bike in the rain, and all of a sudden we see like the 5 or 6 victims are right in front of her, and she just like wipes out because she like sees them. Like holy shit! And what house does she wipe out in front of? 7741. Holy shit. So she rides home so fast. She calls the detectives right away. So we see all the detectives. They are grabbing their coats. Like it is freaking go time. As this is happening, we see Max. We flash to Max now. He is doing a lot of coke, looking at the map, and almost like he's like he realizes something. Like you see, like he's like, "Holy shit.
Yeah, it all
Holy
clicks.
shit."
He's like
And
staring at the map, and he's like, "Holy shit!"
everything,
He's
yeah.
my street. It's this house.
Everything is clicking, and like we see him like looking at the door, and at the same time we see a hot dude. These scenes are awesome because you see at the hardware store, which is clearly the grabber is out, and he is grabbing all sorts of supplies, not good supplies, man. This is not good. And then we see his van flying home as we see Max looking at the door, and he does, man. Max finally opens the friggin' door, and dude, he sees Finney, and I'm like, holy shit! Like it is in his friggin' house, and we see Finney like terrified, like who the hell is this guy? And he's like, dude, he's like, "Call my dad, call my sister, call my dad, like call my sister, please, like help me, help me, help me." And like you see Max like, "Don't worry, he's not home, he's not home. He went out," and he's like. Also, he's like, "Hey, you want to like hear my story of like how I found you?" Because he's like so coked up and like so exciting. Dude, before anything can even happen, he gets an axe to the friggin' head. The grabber is back, and he is friggin' pissed.
He's pissed. You made me kill my brother.
Dude, my brother. He's like, "My brother is an idiot, but he's my idiot." And as this has happened, the cops pull up. We got Gwen there. Like everything is happening in front of the house. Like, holy shit, this is friggin' incredible. So,
Dude, the
and
whole scene with her riding up to the house too, and then all the
dude,
kids jumping out in front of her
oh.
when she dumps the bike, bro. I was like, "Holy shit, this is getting real fast."
Yeah, dude, this is going from like 0 to 60. Like the build in this movie to what is happening now is fucking wild. And he's like, "I'm gonna take your time with you." He's back to like evil voice. He's like, "I'm gonna take my time with you, Finney." And then he goes and gets a dog. He goes and gets Samson. He brings Samson down there. So he's got friggin' Samson ready. Dude, he swings the friggin' axe right at Finney, and he friggin' misses. And he friggin' runs now. So now he runs to the friggin' to like the corner of like the place. And all of a sudden we see the grabber run towards him. And he made like a homemade like tripwire. Dude, the grabber trips on that and he falls into the
He
hole. the
dude.
hole that he was digging. Like, dude, it
Oh,
was unbelievable how and he had this covered
oh.
up. But as he falls, like he messes up his legs, dude. He like breaks his
Dude,
leg.
he falls into the hole, and the grate that was blocking off the window is in the bottom of that hole, and he
Yes.
fucking destroys his ankle.
Yeah, yeah,
I
you
felt
hear
that
the
on a
sound
whole
and
different
you see
level.
that. So he gets absolutely stuck. So, dude, he is stuck in there right now. And we see like Finney pulls the mask off, and it's like really creepy and weird because he's like, just because the mask is taken off, he's like screams and he's like, ah,
Yeah, trying to hide his face.
like he's like hiding his face. And he's got the phone and he beats the living shit out of the grabber. He is smashing it, smashing it. He is strangling him. But the phone rings as he is friggin' strangling him. And he's like, it's for you. And he puts it like to his ear. And you hear all these other victims like taunting him, like, let's go. This was so friggin' badass. Like you hear everyone like taunting him for like all the shit he did. And he's screaming. And boom, it looks like he is friggin' dead. Finney throws some food to the dog,
Dude,
and
dude,
like
that whole phone call scene. Oh my God.
this,
The fact that, what was it? Robin had the last word.
yes, like
Oh,
amazing. Like this was so badass. And then he like throws like a food to the dog to calm the dog down. And all as this is all happening, we still see the cops searching the house. And they're like, we're in the wrong house. There's nothing here. And I'm like, oh my God, like find the door to the basement. Like he's in the
yeah, we
basement,
got a
guys.
basement.
Like, and then all of a sudden you hear it. He's like, oh shit, we got a door, we got a basement. They walk down, they open the door. But I'm like, what the fuck? You don't see Finney. You don't see
No,
Finney in the door, any of this. And it's like a graveyard, dude. It's all dirt with like, and there's like a
yeah.
fresh hole for the next victim. But you see everyone's buried there, and they're like, oh my God. They're like, this must be where like they're buried. But they're like, I think they're killed somewhere else. And then I have so many questions. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, where is Finney? Like, what is happening? And then we see Finn, like, so now, like, dude, you see outside. I mean, they got like the whole entire street is blocked off. You got ambulances, fire trucks, cops. You see Gwen is just like sitting there,
She's
like
a
looking
mess sitting
so
outside the
defeated.
gate. Like her dream let her down. I mean, you still found all these kids, but she's like,
Like,
my dream let me down. I still don't know where my
dude,
brother
she
is.
looks crushed. And as this happened, you get epic walk of Finney walking upstairs, and you see him. He gets to the door. He does the combination lock, and he is out. And when he walks out, dude, he's across the fucking street from all this.
Yeah.
Like
You even see the black van in the driveway.
all that stuff right there. Like he walks out, he was literally right across the street. He walks out, and you see Gwen run up to him, and the cops are like, "Oh my God, like he's over here." Everyone runs to him. You see the dad get there. He is begging him for forgiveness. The whole entire street is shut down. And we see the cops say, like, hey, we got like five bodies over here. And hey, we rescued one. And you see, like, now all of a sudden, like, it's a couple months go by, and you see they're talking like the police reports, like, hey, the grabber had two houses. Like, Finney is back at school. We see, like, he
Dude,
sits
he's
next to
walking
him.
through the hallways and he is such a badass.
I was gonna
Like
say, a
they're all
complete
talking
badass.
about him. Everyone's like, yo, he beat the shit out of that guy. Like I heard he strangled him with his bare hands. Like Finney has just the utmost respect and is now done like the toughest, most badass kid to ever walk those hallways.
Dude, it is unbelievable. And he's literally like, he's like, hey, call me Finn. And boom, movie over. Let's go. And if you want to
Jesus
talk away
Christ,
and
dude.
talk for a second,
I've got, dude, these opening credits and the filming from happy to intense is incredible. The voice work behind the mask with the grabber is top tier. Also, the slight changing in his mask from having like no mouth to a mouth with like a full, gauntlet of teeth. Uh, it just shows the grabber's frustration like over a period of time when Finn isn't willing to play the naughty boy game. The whole movie versions of years and days, all of this leading up to the grabber with grabbing each kid via Gwen really leaves a lasting impression on us as the viewers. This is a tense and suspenseful ride from start to finish. Mason Thames as Finney was a perfect casting choice, and he delivers as this scared, quiet boy who turns into this like badass, strong survivor kid. Outside of what is almost like a flawlessly done movie, in my opinion, from start to finish. The great part about this movie, Justin, if you can give me a drum roll, is, dude, we don't get a dumbass fucking dialogue for 15 minutes from our villain about why they do what they do. The grabber is just a sick fuck who gains his powers through the fear of deception and hiding behind a mask while he preys on young boys. I'll be adding this dude to my rotation for sure, and we'll be giving this a magical 8.7.
I am.
Also, after digging into like the fun facts in
Yeah.
this movie felt like it had a lot of Sinister meets Stephen King's universe vibes going on. And there is so many connections to both Sinister and it throughout this movie. I
Yes.
cannot wait to see which direction Black Phone 2 takes. I did read one thing about the Black Phone 2, and it mentions something about how the grabber could possess could possess traces of like a Freddy Krueger if they move forward in the timeline and not backwards.
Hell yeah. Love all that. And we're very similar. I wrote, all right, so this was suspenseful, so suspenseful, super interesting. I love it that like kind of like similar to what you said about like the insane like 15 minute like talking and all this dumb shit. I wrote all the characters did the smart thing. Like it was like a really smart horror movie. Like all the characters actually they weren't stupid and did dumb. Like they actually were
Yeah.
really smart. The mask was so creepy. I do have a little question. Like, I just kind of wish I knew more about the grabber. Like, what the hell? Like, I had a bunch of different questions. Like, and I wanted to know, like, why could Finney be the only one that could hear it, hear the phone? But I love the brother and sister dynamic in this. It was like amazing about just like, never giving up and everything. It was so incredible. I give this an 8 out of 10. Like I said, I would have even given it even higher if I just knew I had some questions about the grabber, just like what's going on here, what are his motives. I had definitely had a few more questions, but awesome movie, 8 out of 10, and I am excited about the sequel.
So my answer to you when you were like, why could Finney and the grabber only hear the phone?
Yeah.
I don't have an answer for the grabber, but if this has Stephen King universe tie-ins, especially with The Shining, where little Danny like Torrance could hear like spirits that have passed on, he could see like entities and shit like that.
Yeah.
We see this with Gwen throughout the movie, and they say her mom had it too. I'm assuming Finn has
All
these
right. Right, right.
capabilities
Gotcha.
just in a
I didn't
different
think of
way,
that.
and that's maybe why he could hear it through the phone.
Gotcha.
Let's get into some fun facts, bro.
Let's
And
do
there's
this.
so many.
There's a lot.
I sat on, I enjoyed this movie so much, Justin, that I sat on IMDb and I read every single one of these fun facts and just
Let's
jotted
go.
down the ones that like I enjoyed. And one of the ones that first pops up is the paperboy is reference to Johnny Gosh, a paperboy from Iowa who was on his route with his dog Gretchen, and then he disappeared. His dog was found later that day, but Johnny's disappearance remains unsolved to this day.
So
Yeah,
creepy.
talk
I read
about
that too.
tying in
I read
true
that.
crime. I saw that and
Right?
I was like, there's no way we can't mention that. Ethan Hawke had to be convinced to play the grabber as he's not a very big horror fan. Much like Sinister, which he had to be convinced to be a part of that. After reading the script, though, he was all in and he called Scott Dickerson back and left a voicemail in the voice of the grabber saying that
Love
he
that.
would take this part. And I was like, fuck yes, let's go.
So badass.
Justin, I've got a horror legend tie in for you.
All right, what do you got?
Did you read some of these fun facts? Could you tell me who the grabber's mask was designed by?
Oh yes, yes, I got that too. Yes, we dude, we got Tom Savini designed this friggin' mask. Like, let's go.
Fucking crushes it, bro. Mason Thames, who plays Finney, said that after every take with the grabber, Ethan Hawke would ask him if he was all right and would give him a noogie on the head to like make light of the situation. Which, like, props to Ethan Hawke, dude, because if you're getting this deep into this character, you don't want to fucking scar this kid.
Right? Seriously. I mean, can we even like Ethan Hawke anymore? Like, coolest guy ever.
Oh yeah. Scott Dickerson included a scene from The Tingler in 1959 because this is a direct memory of him seeing the film as a kid and it truly freaked him out. And he said, and I quote, that was the beginning of horror, of the horror director in me, I suppose, was seeing that movie.
Of course, I got that because we got a horror movie in a horror movie, so you know I had that written.
Uh, dude, this is another reason why I love Ethan Hawke. For Halloween 2022, he actually went out and trick-or-treated as the grabber.
Dude, I remember that. Because I just remember, I think I saw it on like Twitter back then or whatever. I remember seeing like Ethan Hawke dressed up as it again. And I'm like, oh my, and even then I was like, oh, this dude is awesome. Like, that's just so badass.
And dude, I give props to Scott Dickerson right now because when you cast for a movie and you have casting that works as well as this, you do whatever you can to make sure that movie gets the right characters, right?
Hmm.
So Madeline McGraw, who plays Gwen, was originally unable to appear in this film as she was shooting, her shooting schedule clashed with a show she was on, Secrets of Sulphur Springs. And Scott was just so impressed with her like audition and the way she wanted to portray Gwen that he pushed back the production date and made it work to accommodate her. I was
Awesome.
like, that is amazing, dude. Talk about seeing someone and being like, "Yep, yeah, I'm. We're gonna make it work."
Badass.
This script was written in 6 weeks and shot in 33 days. Holy shit! Talk about efficiency.
Hmm.
If you told me like, "Hey, we're gonna watch a horror movie that was shot," the whole movie was written in 6 weeks and then shot in 33 days, I would be like, "All right, so how many loopholes are we gonna find?"
Yeah, it's gonna be
You know what I mean?
awful.
How many things aren't gonna make sense?
Right?
Scott Dickerson's childhood had its own violence, but there was also a societal wave, including Ted Bundy's trip through Colorado, the murder of Dickerson's next door neighbor, and even a phone call that saw him talk briefly with one of the Manson family murderers. The primary emotion that he wanted to associate with this movie was childhood fear. Holy shit, did he knock it out of the park?
So good.
And then I've got a couple of more. The line running through the wall in the basement from the phone is in reference to the poster of Sinister from 2012.
Great poster.
They actually rewrote the ending a couple of times, searching for the best way to close things out. And an earlier idea saw the return of the ghost kids as Finney kills the grabber. Dickerson decided having him hear them on the phone was much better. Yeah, I fucking wholeheartedly agree. Granted, I think them coming back would have been like really fucked up too, but having them talk to him through the phone, amazing.
Oh yeah.
Uh, my favorite fun fact about this, Justin, is every method of escape that these kids on the phone tell Finney to use to fight off. He uses it at the end to fight off the grabber. He uses the hole, the cable, the freezer with the meat. That's how he used the meat to get by the dog. Packing the phone with dirt, and even the padlock combination. He uses every single thing that these kids tried to use to help him get out. He uses them against the grabber, which great way to tie them all together.
So awesome. Love that too.
All right, Justin, you got anything?
Yeah, pretty much every single thing you said. But let's see, what I got left is we got a tagline of never talk to strangers, and holy shit, I don't ever want to after watching this movie.
Oh, fuck no.
And I don't even know if you mentioned it or not, but this was based actually off a short story by Joe Hill. So,
Yeah.
which is obviously Stephen King's son. So yeah, and pretty much you got everything else. So that is all I got.
All right. I've
Excited.
got Joe Hill. When I say there's a lot of similarities, near the end, when Gwen is riding the bike through the rain, she's wearing a yellow raincoat, and this is identical to Georgie Denbrough, who wore it when he was taken by Pennywise in the movie It. And like you said, the movie It was written by Stephen King, who is Joe Hill's father. Joe Hill
Mhm.
wrote the short story The Black Phone.
Let's go.
And then the last little thing that I do have for a tie-in is there are a few similarities between this film and It. A very eerie villain goes after the kids. The villain has a costume or a familiar look of some kind, and while It shows a red balloon to denote I'm a mess, dude. To denote danger, there are two black balloons in this film shown floating after the protagonist is taken. Gwen is riding through the rain, like I said, with the yellow coat. Um, and also the grabber's brother Max is played by James Ranson, and he plays the older version of Eddie Kasprak in It Chapter 2. So there is a lot of tie-ins.
Holy crap. Let's
All
go.
right, dude. I'm excited for the Black Phone too. Like
Me
this is
too.
one of the movies that I think we should go see in the movie theater.
Yeah, I don't even know when it comes out, but I'm ready. I want to
All
see
right.
it.
Until then, bro, I'm Hacky. This dude right here.
Just Justin.
Let's
Peace
go.
out.
We out.
Let's go.